Okay, so elections in September. How do you think voters are going to rate the governance of Rupiah Banda?
Well, at RMB, our view is that the elections will go very smoothly. And one would expect, based on Rupiah Banda's track record, that they will reward him with their votes. That is as a result of his economic performance over the last couple of years.
What sort of reforms have we seen in Zambia? Because there is still a sense that they're heavily reliant on copper mining, that they haven't done a lot by way of energy infrastructure and just diversifying the economy. What sort of things has he done?
Well, amongst other things, he has made the operating environment quite friendly for investors. We've seen the Chinese come in. Just recently, the World Bank upgraded the country to middle income status. The IMF has come out to say that they are happy with the country and that their strategies, or rather the economic growth is robust. Those are some of the positives amongst a whole range of positives.
All right, but the political contest, it seems, is heating up. And some are even calling for Rupiah Banda to be disqualified. On what technicality?
Well, that basically came from the opposition party, the PF. Michael Sata, who leads it, came out to say no, Rupiah Banda is not eligible because of his parents, who are supposedly from neighboring Malawi and Zimbabwe. So that went to court, but it was dismissed, and Rupiah Banda is eligible. The court ruled that he is of Zambian origin and descent.
Right. Let's talk about Michael Sata, because he was a controversial figure in the last elections, and he spoke out incredibly against the propensity of Chinese investors to come in, saying that effectively you're selling the birthright of the Zambians, those mines, to foreigners. What sort of politics is he putting forward now?
Well, that's true. That's been his policy stance. He's also been very friendly with neighboring Zimbabwe, and he's also come out to make utterances about Zimbabwe and so on. That hasn't gone down well with the populace. So one can expect that the population or the general man on the street will look at where the country has come from, and then base their assumptions and their aspirations on that, for further growth, further prosperity.
From the side of the opposition, do they have an economic program that they're putting forward that some members of the electorate would look at quite intensely?
That is actually the big problem, because they don't have a policy offering. The opposition party has resorted to personal attacks on the president and people in his cabinet, which hasn't really helped the situation, in terms of getting the opposition leader votes. Whereas the president, Rupiah Banda, has, laid out key policy objectives should he get the mandate again.
Any wild card elements ahead of the election?
Well, one should be looking out for a 1.2 million surge in the voter, the new voters. In 2006, we had about 3.9 million voters, but this time around we've got 5.2 million. So these 1.2 million people, nothing is known about them. And number two, the general understanding is that they are the youth, and the youth are very tough to please. And that will be the wild card, where these people will place their votes.
Talking about the youth, obviously, it's been a challenge in South Africa, it's been a challenge in countries like Nigeria, many of them fresh from school, some fresh from universities, but few employment opportunities, and they are looking for job opportunities, job security, decent wages. Is the Zambian economy broad enough to absorb them?
Well, that is actually President Banda's one of his objectives in his manifesto. He has said that he is looking to diversify the economy away from copper and creating opportunities in other sectors, other value-adding sectors, such as manufacturing. He's looking to boost the agricultural sector, and therefore the spin-off will be jobs for the population and the youth.
Okay, we're seeing the kwacha a little bit weakened. We're told obviously it's got to do with the commodities prices, but also uncertainty about the election. Any chance of electoral violence or any kind of instability?
Luckily, the country has got an entrenched, level of political stability historically. So one can go by that and say, we are not expecting any major incidents of violence or major instability. What one can obviously expect is, the politicking, the going back and forth, and, excitable behavior from the opposition.
Yeah. For any investors looking at Zambia right now, what does the country have to offer beyond the copper mining that we're talking about? What are the growth prospects and the investment opportunities that would make this a wonderful Southern African economy to start looking at outside the mainstream?
Yes. Well, I mean, Lerato, the LSE, the Lusaka Stock Exchange, is a clear outperformer if you look at its performance against other stock markets. If you also look at the fact that the country is growing at about 7%, I mean, at current times, there is no other sub-Saharan country that can, record such good growth. So it's a high growth country, and that's the selling point about Zambia.